Link TV, connecting you to the world. Link TV is viewer supported. Watch more at linktv.org.
Link TV presents Mosaic World News from the Middle East. Here are today's top stories.
UN rejects call to withdraw from Ivory Coast. Iran executes 11 alleged Jundallah terrorists. And Egypt says it has uncovered an Israeli spy ring. Mosaic World News from the Middle East begins now.
أفاد مراسل الجزيرة في القاهرة بأن النائب العام المصري
Our Al Jazeera correspondent in Cairo said the Egyptian general prosecutor decided to transfer an Egyptian and 2 Israelis to the State Security Supreme Court on charges of spying for Israel and harming Egypt's political and economic interests and its national security. An Egyptian security source explained that the Egyptian defendant is a businessman who was arrested in August on charges of cooperating with 2 Israelis to recruit agents. Official sources in Cairo indicate that members of the spy ring set up offices in Israel, Egypt, Britain, and Gaza to record the phone conversations of Egyptian officials and gather information on Chinese and Japanese tourists in the Sinai. Joining us from Cairo is our correspondent, Samir Omar. Samir, what else is behind these allegations? And under what procedure will the trial be conducted?
الحبيب دعنا نشير في البداية لأن الزميل مصطفى كفافي توجه الآن إلى منزل المتهم المصري الأول طارق عبد الرحمن.
Habib, first of all, let me point out that our colleague Mustafa Kafafi is right now headed to the home of the first defendant, Egyptian Tariq Abdul Razik. He is trying to get the reaction of his neighbors and family and their opinion on what pushed Tariq to take this path and cooperate with the Israeli Mossad. In this case, Habib, there are 2 important aspects. The first is related to the security analysis and information obtained by the Egyptian security institutions. From this information, we learned that Tariq is the one who asked to work with the Israeli Mossad when he was in China a few years ago. Israeli intelligence officials approved his request and subjected him to a series of questions and interviews. Afterward, they recruited him, and in the meantime, he went through specialized training conducted by spying experts in Israeli embassies in China and Thailand. This means Israeli embassies are training sites for spies on the Arab world. The second observation is that the Egyptian defendant, Tariq, also traveled to Syria many times throughout this period and met with Syrian agents who he paid in exchange for information. This means Egyptian and Syrian intelligence agencies could probably cooperate in this case in order to find the Syrian members of this spy ring. The third observation is that the objective of this spy ring was to set up an extensive network to spy on Syria, Lebanon, the Gaza Strip, and Egypt, of course, as part of an international spying system that is trained by and under the authority of the Israeli intelligence agency.
The British police have arrested 12 people suspected of planning attacks in the UK. Police are currently inspecting the homes of the detainees and a number of other places for alleged links to Al-Qaeda. Security sources stated that the arrests came as part of a major operation prepared earlier by intelligence agencies. Joining us in the studio is author and journalist Tawfiq Rabah al-Zaid. Mr. Rabahi, there's still little information on the arrests, but do you have any idea on what basis these 12 people were arrested today?
The first basic idea is that the arrests were based on suspicion, meaning that British security institutions are acting based on what they suspect or feel from the information they received, regardless of whether it is confirmed or not, or if it is strong or weak evidence of such an attack. So they hurried into this move to prevent a disaster from happening. If, after the arrest, it is proven that there was indeed some kind of crime or attack planned, the police's position will be justified. But if it is revealed that the information they received was not convincing, not strong enough, or that there was not enough proof for such an action, then the detainees will be released. Let's not forget also that these arrests came during the holiday season. Usually the holiday season causes some kind of confusion, hesitation, or fear regarding security. The West has had negative experiences, such as a while ago when during the holiday season flights from Paris to the U.S. were canceled at the last minute. And the holiday season has always been a time that caused fear and apprehension. Therefore, it is not strange that the British police took the initiative to arrest any suspicious person as soon as they received certain information, even though it may just be a simple clue that led to these arrests. Also notice that in today's arrests, the police conducted the arrests without any weapons. Usually they will surround the area, surround the homes with helicopters monitoring from the air. But this time it seems that it was done without any fuss.
What does that mean? What does it indicate that the police conducted this operation without using any weapons? Does it mean that these people are not highly dangerous?
نعم ربما هذا يحيل إلى أن المعلومات التي لدى الشرطة ليست مخيفة بالشكل الذي يستدعي استعمال.
Yes, perhaps this suggests that the information the police obtained was not terrifying enough to call for the use of weapons or strong security machinery. Or maybe those arrested are not categorized as highly dangerous or capable of causing a real disaster.
يمكن أن يسببوا كارثة.
Iran has executed 11 members of the Jundallah terrorist group in the southeastern city of Zahedan. The terror network is responsible for killing hundreds of Iranian civilians and military officials. They've been behind a series of deadly bombings and shootings in the southeast of Iran in recent years. The group's latest attack took place less than a week ago in the city of Chabahar. The bombings left at least 38 people dead and scores more injured.
Iran's government has announced the launch of its economic reform plan. The move is aimed at overhauling the economy by shelving energy and food subsidies. The announcement has concerned some Iranians who are worried that the plan will trigger an inflation spike, making life difficult for ordinary people. But the government has assured Iranians that it will do everything it can to stabilize the market. Press TV's Amir Mehdi Kazemi has this report.
The government is completely ready to create economic revolution in the country by accomplishment of the economic reform plan. In this stage, we don't want to release prices, rather we are going to regulate and reform them.
Iranians woke up to experience a more efficient lifestyle as the first day of Iran's subsidy reform plan kicked off. The aim, according to the government, is to develop and restructure Iran's economy.
Turkey has again called on Israel to apologize for the killing of Turkish peace activists. 9 Turkish activists were killed by Israeli commandos in international waters while carrying relief aid for the people of Gaza in May. Turkish Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan says there will be no normal relations between the two sides before Israel makes an apology. Erdogan also criticized the U.S. and the EU for their stance on the Israeli attack. He also questioned Israel's motives for refusing to stop West Bank settlement construction. Relations between Israel and Turkey worsened following the Israeli attack on the Gaza flotilla. Israel's attack drew widespread condemnation around the world. Well, Tel Aviv has stepped up its diplomatic efforts at the United Nations to block a draft resolution that could lead to the official recognition of Palestinian statehood. Israeli ambassadors and envoys have been ordered to take measures against any move at the UN to pressure Tel Aviv into stopping settlement expansion. Israeli media quote the Israeli Defense Minister Ehud Barak as saying that the Palestinian Authority is making diplomatic efforts against Israel at the UN. Several world nations have already said they recognize the Palestinian statehood. Israel has long been under fire over the settlement construction in Palestinian territories. It has refused to heed international calls for an end to its illegal settlement expansions. The first Asian Gaza-bound aid convoy will arrive in Damascus on Tuesday. Our correspondent in the Syrian capital has sent us this report.
Representatives of the convoy, along with Secretary General and members of the follow-up committee of the Palestinian National Conference, attended a press briefing at the Palestinian refugee camp of Al-Yarmouk in the Syrian capital. Secretary General of the committee, Mr. Khalid Abdel-Majid, talked about the important role this Asian campaign can play in supporting the Palestinian cause and also of the challenges it has faced. Representatives of the convoy said their main aim was to shed light on the struggle of the Palestinian people under occupation and to help break the Gaza siege that has been in place for 4 years. The delegation also met with Ahmed Jibril, Secretary General of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine.
We hope our efforts will help ease the situation in Gaza. India is a multicultural country. There's a wide range of religions and parties in India. Today, India, along with 14 countries, is trying to help Gazans.
Members of the delegation added that in addition to medical aid, the convoy will donate 2 ambulances to the people of Gaza. Many people consider this convoy a true evidence of international solidarity with the people of Gaza.
The message of this convoy is a message of popular support for Gazans. I think this is a very important step, and it paves the way for more convoys.
15 countries are participating in the convoy, which started from India, making its way through Pakistan, Iran, Turkey, and Syria. They plan to enter Gaza via Gaza border crossing on December 28 after traveling through Lebanon, Jordan, and Egypt. The aid convoy will reach Damascus on Tuesday. Analysts say by traveling across Asia and the Arab world, the convoy is giving a strong message of support for the people of Gaza, even before reaching there. A message they wanted to reach out to the whole world. Gaza is not alone. Hamad Ali, Press TV, Damascus.
The elected president of the Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara, asked UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon to keep the international forces in his country. This comes after his rival, President Laurent Gbagbo, demanded their withdrawal. This request was denied by the United Nations, which recognizes Ouattara as the president, warning Gbagbo of consequences if UN forces are attacked.
Outgoing President Laurent Gbagbo is facing another crisis with the international peacekeeping forces deployed across the country after the UN rejected his request for its forces to leave the country. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon rejected Gbagbo's demand to withdraw the international forces from the Ivory Coast. At the same time, the UN warned of consequences if the forces were attacked.
He said we would continue. The international forces will fulfill their mandate and will continue to monitor any human rights violations, incitement of hatred, and attacks on UN peacekeepers.
وزيرة الخارجية الفرنسية ميشيل اليوماري بدورها قالت إن قوات بلادها المنتشرة في ساحل.
French Foreign Minister Michel Alliot-Marie said French forces stationed in the Ivory Coast have the right to defend themselves should they come under attack. She confirmed that international rules governing self-defense apply to French troops stationed in the Ivory Coast. In light of the tense situation, the United States asked non-emergency staff in its Abidjan embassy to leave the country due to what it described as a deteriorating political and security situation.
مغادرة البلاد على خلفية ما وصفته بالوضع السياسي والأمني المتدهور كما دعت بريطانيا رعاياها إلى مغادرة ساحل العالم.
In addition, Britain called on its nationals to leave the Ivory Coast unless they have a pressing reason to remain. So the political crisis in the Ivory Coast has entered a serious phase in light of the escalation of tensions between the outgoing president and the United Nations, as well as the confrontation between Gbagbo and his rival, elected President Alassane Ouattara. This power struggle reached its peak after both sides mobilized their supporters and dozens of people were killed in the past few weeks.
تظاهر العشرات من سكان ساحل العاج المناهضين لحكم الرئيس المنتهية ولايته لوران غباغبو أمام قاعدة.
Dozens of Ivory Coast residents demonstrated against outgoing President Laurent Gbagbo in front of a UN base in the capital of Abidjan. Demonstrators said Gbagbo supporters directly fired at them and that some of them were injected with poisonous material. The UN confirmed the spread of armed gangs wearing military uniforms that are kidnapping civilians and committing serious violations against them. The Security Council is expected to hold an emergency session to look into the political crisis in the Ivory Coast in the coming hours.
نصف التشكيلة الحكومية هو أو هذا هو ما سيحصل عليه العراقيون.
More than 50% of Iraq's cabinet will be announced this afternoon, as confirmed by government spokesman Ali Al-Dabah. Al-Dabah said that the Iraqi Prime Minister will announce today the names of some of the ministers in the new cabinet.
في الحكومة تأكيدا قبله قبل قليل إعلان رئيس البرلمان العراقي.
Earlier, Iraqi Parliament Speaker Usama al-Nujafi said today's session was postponed due to the failure to reach a consensus over some of the cabinet's portfolios, including the Ministers of Interior, Defence and National Security.
الداخلية والأمن القومي، لكن هذا التأخير لا يعني وجود خلاف على الأقل.
Meanwhile, head of the Iraqiya bloc, Iyad Alawi, ruled out conflicts as a reason for the delay. He added that there will be no problem as long as the party's intentions and actions are honest, and as long as Al-Maliki's party delivers on its promises.
التي قدمها.
Joining us directly from Baghdad is our Dubai correspondent, Shafiq Abdul Jabbar. Shafiq, will there or will there not be a session today? What could have possibly happened between yesterday and today to cause such debate and reluctance?
Yes, Ayman. All media and parliamentary indications have shown that Iraqi Prime Minister-designate Nouri al-Maliki would announce his cabinet this morning. However, the announcement was delayed due to differences within, not among, parliamentary blocs. For example, a dispute broke out within the National Alliance, particularly between the Sadrist movement and the State of Law coalition. Also, a disagreement ensued between the Iraqiya list and the Kurdistan Alliance. All these factors seem to play a part in the delay of the announcement of the new cabinet. Announcement will likely be made this afternoon. This news was confirmed by parliamentary sources as well as circles close to Iraqi Prime Minister-designate Nouri al-Maliki. Hassan al-Sunaid confirmed that al-Maliki will present nearly 70% of his cabinet today. Safa al-Din Safi, the Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs, said the council will likely hold a session tonight or late afternoon at about 4 p.m. Baghdad local time in order for al-Maliki to announce a large part of his cabinet.
Relations between Israel, Turkey, and Cyprus becoming more problematic. It started on Friday when Israel and Cyprus signed an economic agreement. Turkey, a bitter rival of Cyprus, objected and called in Gabi Levy, Israel's ambassador to Ankara, to lodge a formal complaint. Israel responded today by saying the deal, which specifies the sea border between Cyprus and Israel and defines an exclusive economic zone between the two countries, was a bilateral matter and Turkey had no reason to get involved. Foreign Ministry spokesman Yigal Palmore said this agreement is an issue between Israel and Cyprus and it in no way affects a third country. The issue was raised even as Israel tries to rebuild relations with Turkey following the incident in May in which 9 Turkish extremists were killed by IDF forces aboard a blockade-running ship. The deal will allow Israel and Cyprus to move ahead in the search for energy sources in the eastern Mediterranean and is seen as part of Cyprus's ongoing efforts to uncover undersea oil and gas deposits. The island nation has already concluded similar agreements with Egypt and Lebanon, which Ankara has urged Arab nations to put on hold. Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak was offered a chance to buy a nuclear weapon on the black market following the collapse of the Soviet Union, but he refused, according to a U.S. diplomatic cable given to WikiLeaks and published in today's edition of The Guardian. The original information came from Egypt's UN ambassador, Magid Abdelaziz, in a conversation with the U.S. nuclear arms control negotiator back in May of 2009. Abdelaziz claimed he was in Moscow at the time and had personal knowledge of the offer. According to the leaked cable, the Americans believed Abdelaziz wanted to portray Cairo as a responsible member of the international community. The Egyptian diplomat also told the Americans that Iran cannot be allowed to acquire nuclear weapons.
They lived in Morocco's towns and villages. They used to be merchants and artisans. We are talking about Moroccan Jews, who numbered 500,000 before most of them immigrated to Israel in the middle of the 20th century. Today, some of them are trying to leave their mark on Morocco's culture and history.
Moroccan Jews migrated, but this museum remains a witness to their history and their country of origin. The museum immortalizes the Jewish culture, religion, and customs of Moroccan Jews, whose numbers have decreased a great deal since they began immigrating to Israel. Israel. The Jewish Museum displays some of the Jewish people's daily necessities. Simon Levy, the director of the museum, is asking for a review of the school board's decisions because he believes it neglected the role of Moroccan Jews in the country's history.
Over the past 40 years, the Jews have been forgotten. Jews are present. They see them, live with them, etc. But school books, most notably history books, have erased us.
Moroccan Jews, whether they immigrated or still live in Morocco, cling to this country where they have resided for many centuries. Kamal Hankar is a young Moroccan director from the city of Al-Iraqiya. He traveled to Israel to meet with Jews who originate from this region and who lived side by side with his Muslim grandparents in the city of Al-Iraqiya.
My work aims to display the Jewish Amazigh cultural heritage, especially to young people.
Most Moroccan Jews today live in the large cultural centers of Casablanca, Rabat, Fez, and Marrakesh. However, they once lived throughout Morocco. Many of those who traveled to Israel return today as tourists or to celebrate religious holidays.
The tomb of Prophet Idris was discovered in the 1960s in the Qarada neighborhood of central Baghdad. The ancestry of Idris can be traced back to the time of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him. Prophet Idris has a special place in the hearts of people around the world.
Idris's admirers come here to hear his sermons, and he grants them love and resolves their problems. They go to him to request faith healing, and the poor go to him to receive help from his donation box, which always has something to offer.
The sound of this boy's drumming mixes with the sounds of this famous memorial site. Iraqis are perhaps used to this place, but it has a feature that historically is viewed as contradictive. It carries many traditions that equate to religious duties. Prophet Idris, the second son of Moses, descended from Imam al-Hasan Sabt, son of Imam Ali ibn Talib, peace be upon him. Mr. Idris was martyred in the Ardsus battle in the year 300 of the Islamic calendar. He was buried here, and the area was named after him, Qarada of Prophet Idris. But there are historians who say he descended from the Husseinis.
Books written about Prophet Idris refer to him as Hassani, so he is a Husseini. I wrote a book on Idris, which I worked very hard on. So Prophet Idris is buried in his home, which is now his memorial.
In the 19th and 20th centuries, the area surrounding the tomb of Idris witnessed a bustling social life and became a haven for children on holidays. Moreover, many families in Baghdad and especially in Qarada gathered here. Children took the courtyard as their playground. Others made it a place to perform their religious rituals and take care of businesses.
Firstly, it's a memorial. In the past, they buried children here. My sister was buried here too. They mark the 10th Muharram, or Ashura, and the 40th day after death by coming to this memorial. So it has various meanings? Yes, various meanings. People come from everywhere, not only from Qarada, but from all places. Prophet Idris was renowned for his miracles. One of the miracles the people of Qatar tell is that he lifted a palm tree from the bank of the Tigris River and set it on fire. Then the palm tree became blessed. People competed to get a share of the tree, but it was swept away by the river. Khazlat Days is one of the most famous events the tomb of Idris Khazlat Days is one of the most famous events the tomb of Idris witnesses. During Khazlat Days, swings are put up for the children to play on, and vendors sell games and toys to them. Therefore, the tomb of Idris and its surroundings have a special feature that differentiates it from other holy sites. It is said that every holy site has a story. One of the stories of this holy site is, when Qatar was inundated by a flood more than 60 years ago, the tomb of Idris was miraculously unaffected. The tomb of Idris is a memorial, a place for religion, leisure, and legends. Various events of joy and sorrow take place here. People celebrate holidays at times, and mourn the Ashura martyrs and tragedies at other times. Ali Al-Khalid, Al-Iraqiya, Baghdad.
The views expressed on Mosaic are from contributing broadcasters, not Link TV or its sponsors. The production of Mosaic is made possible by grants from the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, the Firedoll Foundation, and by support of viewers like you. Thank you. Watch Mosaic World News online. Stay up to date with breaking news, read our blog, get transcripts of past shows, and more at linktv.org/mosaic.
This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries, and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world.